Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds. The contract standoff between Liverpool and Mohamed Salah might be tense, but it doesn't seem to be stressing the Egyptian out. With only 5 months remaining on his existing contract, speculation surrounding Salah's future continues to run rife. If he fails to agree an extension in the coming weeks, he will leave Anfield for nothing at the end of the season. If that happens, there will presumably be plenty of offers on the table for the 32-year-old, though a move to the Saudi Pro League looks likeliest. Last month, when visiting Liverpool's training ground to interview Arneslot, Gary Lineker bumped into Salah, who offered the match of the day host a little insight into his thinking ahead of a potential summer exit. "He's a lovely guy," Lineker said on the Rest is Football podcast. "I spent 10 minutes with him when I went to visit Arneslot." Co-host Alan Shearer asked, "Did you not get it out of him whether he's staying or going or not?" Lineker replied, "I didn't, no. He was just being funny. He asked me, 'How old were you when you finished?' And I said, 'Well, English football I finished when I was 32, and then I went to play in Japan for a couple of years.' And he went, 'Ah, you went for the money, did you?' And I said, 'Well, yeah, I suppose so.' And he went, 'Yeah, I might do the same.' He then winked at the press guy that was there. It was just a joke, but he has got that cheeky sense of humour. Despite the possibility of a summer departure, Liverpool supporters are clinging to the hope that Salah will decide to prolong his tenure in Merseyside. His uncertain future hasn't dampened his on-field performance, with the Salah scoring 25 goals across all competitions this season, matching last season's total already. His goal-scoring prowess has propelled Liverpool to the top of the charts, both at home and in Europe. The Reds have a 6-point lead over Arsenal, who sit second in the Premier League, following their 2-0 victory against Bournemouth on Saturday, courtesy of a Salah double, and they could extend their lead to 9 points if they win their game in hand against Everton next Wednesday. They also topped the Champions League phase table, securing 7 victories from their 8 matches. In the last 16, they'll go up against either PSG, Brest, Monaco or Benfica, depending on the outcomes of the playoffs and the draw for the subsequent round. Salah's predicament isn't unique at Anfield. Both Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk have less than 6 months left on their current contracts, so Liverpool risk losing all 3 players at the end of the season for nothing if contract extensions aren't negotiated and signed. Real Madrid are optimistic about securing Alexander-Arnold, with the defender reportedly verbally committing to a move to the Bernabeu recently. Van Dijk, meanwhile, is expected to remain at Anfield, although a new contract has not been finalised yet. Arne Slot's star striker at Feyenoord has joined AC Milan in a deal worth around £30 million. The Mexican forward dazzled for the Dutch side under Slot, scoring 23 goals in the 2022-23 campaign that saw them win the Eredivisie before bagging another 26 the following campaign. There have been reports that Slot could have tried to bring Giménez with him to Liverpool after his impressive goal-scoring record, coupled with the sketchy form of Darwin Núñez. But Giménez has now pledged his future to AC Milan, signing a contract until 2029 as he bids to follow in the footsteps of some legends who have played for the club, such as Filippo Inzaghi and Andriy Shevchenko. The club said AC Milan is delighted to announce the permanent signing of Santiago Tomás Giménez from Feyenoord Rotterdam. The Mexican striker has signed a contract that lasts until 30 June 2029. Giménez will wear the number 7 shirt. Giménez added, "Hi Milanistas, this is Santiago Giménez. First of all, I want to send you a big hug and say that I will see you soon at San Siro to celebrate lots of goals. All the best." Giménez won 3 trophies with Slot, including the Dutch Cup last season, and earlier this year he suggested he could one day reunite with the Dutchman at Liverpool in the future, teasing a possible move to the Premier League. Football is always about the same familiar faces, and that is the beauty of football. Leaving a mark, friendships all over the world, to meet again, greet each other, and see each other again, he told Fox Sports Mexico after being asked about Slot. Since I was a child, I always wanted to be in one of the 5 best leagues in the world, he added. And one of those includes Spain, the Premier League, or Italy. I don't have a preference for any of them, and I would like to play in all of them. Why not? It comes with Liverpool having a particularly quiet transfer window under Slot, who didn't make many signings last summer either. The only player who arrived was winger Federicochiesa, who has not started a game in the Premier League. The club also signed Valencia goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili, though the Georgian star has opted to delay his arrival at Anfield until the end of the season. It was a quiet January for Liverpool, but the winter transfer window isn't closed just yet. Arne Slot has only welcomed one player in his 7 months as Liverpool boss, Federicochiesa, following his cut-price move from Juventus, and he's barely played. Highly rated goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili will arrive from Valencia in July, leaving fans hungry for a signing or two who can make an impact this season. Meanwhile, the saga involving Liverpool's 3 out-of-contract stars is still being played out both publicly and behind closed doors. Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk are all free to speak to other clubs after entering the final 6 months of their deals, and the twists and turns keep on going ahead of Monday's 11 p.m. deadline. Here's a roundup of the latest transfer news from Anfield. Saudi Arabian champions Al Hilal have reportedly offered Real Madrid forward Rodrygo a mega money deal as an alternative to their top target, Mo Salah. Al Hilal offered Liverpool £150 million for Salah in 2023, but the Reds rejected their eye-watering proposal. Now, though, it appears that the Saudi heavyweights have their eye on another star of European football, Rodrygo. Marca claimed that Al Hilal proposed a long-term contract worth 9 figures for the 24-year-old Brazilian, who they'd want to eventually become the poster boy for the 2034 World Cup, which is being hosted in Saudi. Rodrygo, however, has no intention of leaving Madrid. Arne Slot has confirmed that Liverpool are discussing whether to loan out young duo James McConnell and Jadon Danns, who both started Wednesday's loss in Eindhoven. These are also ongoing discussions we have. You know how it is in football. Yesterday can be different than today or tomorrow, Slot replied cryptically when asked about their futures. I can give you a certain answer, and of course we're not hoping this is going to happen, but if I leave the training pitch and there are 3 injuries along the training session, then it's going to be a different answer. It's a process we are discussing a lot about. These decisions will be made and will be pushed towards the end of the window, which is almost there. Newcastle have seen their approach for Bryan Mbeumo rejected by Brentford, but they'll come back in the summer armed with a £60 million bid. Mbeumo, 25, has been touted as a potential replacement for Salah, having scored 14 goals and registered 3 assists in the Premier League this season. But Newcastle are big fans of the Frenchman, and Mirror Football understands that they made contact with Brentford earlier this month, only to be rebuffed. The Bees have no intention of selling Mbeumo before deadline day, but Thomas Frank's men are braced for a bidding war when the summer transfer window opens. As Steven Gerrard reflects on the end of his time in Saudi Arabia with Al Ettifaq, the question is, what is next for the Liverpool star? It would be easy for Gerrard to sit back, count his millions and do some punditry like so many of his former teammates. But Gerrard is incredibly driven, and he is not the sort of guy to sit back and bask in the glow of being a Liverpool and England legend. He is 44, and he will want to get back out there and prove he can still be a success as a manager following his checkered career to date. Gerrard did the smart thing and learned the ropes with Liverpool's under-18s when he began his coaching career in 2017. He knew he would make mistakes and did not want them to happen in the full glare of the media. Having cut his managerial teeth, he jumped into the bear pit of Glasgow football in April 2018 when he became Rangers' boss. He was a huge success, and Rangers were unbeaten as they romped to the Scottish title in 2021, their only league triumph in 13 years. But it started to go wrong when he left to become Aston Villa manager in November 2021. Villa nosedived at the start of the 2022 to 2023 season, and he was sacked in October 2022, having won just 3 of his first 12 games. It didn't help that his successor, Unai Emery, has been a magician. Emery led Villa into Europe in 2023, the Champions League in 2024, and they have just qualified automatically for the last 16 of the Champions League. Gerrard headed off to Saudi in July 2023 when he took over at Al Ettifaq and guided them to 6th last season. But this season they have stagnated, and he leaves with them in 12th place. Frank Lampard is a good indicator of what Gerrard can do next, and the Championship looks his best hope. Like Gerrard, Lampard had his time in the top flight with Chelsea and Everton before Coventry came calling, and that is the level he must also accept. The Premier League has become a closed shop for English managers, and Eddie Howe is the only homegrown coach left following the sackings of Sean Dyche, Gary O'Neill and Russell Martin. Increasingly, clubs are foreign-owned and look abroad for coaches, such as Andoni Iraola at Bournemouth, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace, and Fabian Hürseler at Brighton. It's hard to argue with their logic, and most are successful. It doesn't help that Gerrard's stock has plummeted since Villa, and the guy who was seen as Jurgen Klopp's natural successor for so long wasn't even part of that conversation last year. Instead, Liverpool went for Arneslot, and the Dutchman has been a revelation at Anfield. While debates continue over which is the best league, there is no doubt that the Premier League is where all the world's top bosses want to work. This all makes it virtually impossible for Gerrard to land a Premier League job now, and his best hope is to win promotion with a Championship side. That can be fraught, as Wayne Rooney's experience at Plymouth shows, and Gerrard would need a Leeds or Sheffield United, but neither is in a rush to change manager. Gerrard will need to pick his next club carefully if he is to succeed,